Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian Report. However, we're just going to focus on the Australian market, but also we're going to focus on the resources as well, because they're the drivers for the Australian market as such. So this particular chart here is a 2-hour chart, and it's on VALE, and VALE's a Brazilian iron ore company traded on the New York desk, and it's one of the biggest iron ore companies. And we'll also look at BHP as well, which got a similar count, and we'll also look at RIO as well. The reason for looking at VALE is because the wave structure as it moves up is much easier to read rather than BHP and RIO, where it's just got gapping in it, and it's very hard to count some of the wave structures in there. So we've used this one here as a bit of a guide stick, as you know, and I just want to go over this and the BHP, and also have a look at the bigger picture as well. So just on this 2-hour chart from wave 4 here, we're looking at wave 1 and wave 2 here, and then all the way up here for wave 3 that's completed now in terms of wave 1 and 2 here, and up for 3 here, ABC for the 4th here, then 1 and 2 and 3, ABC for 4, and up for 5 here. So we're looking at wave 3, and then we'll look at wave 4 and then wave 5. Now wave 4 here so far, and this will be the same with the other guys, is that the move down through here is only in 3 waves so far. So let's see if we first of all get 5 waves. So 5 waves would be this rally as a wave 4 here, may go a tad higher and then down here. Then that would leave us with 5 waves here. If we get the 5 waves, then we'll get an ABC correction for wave B, and then we'll get another 5 legs down for wave C here. However, it's possible that wave 4 here could already go just in here, because we already have an A and a B and a C. So first of all, we need to see if we get the 5 wave structure down here first, okay? And then we'll know that we're going, if we get 5 here, then we know that we'll get this. But the point of this exercise is just to show you that BHP and RIO are in the same boat as well. We're looking from wave 4 to wave 5 here, and there's not a lot to go, so we're in the later stages of this particular move here. And in the bigger picture from this as well, on the daily chart here, we're looking at it. I can bring these in here a little bit. So we're looking for this wave 5 up here, so from wave 4, the 1 and the 2, and we know what's going on in here now, 3, 4 and 5 here to finish 5 and 5, and that 4 here belongs to this 3, this 2 and this 1 here, and in this case here from this wave 4, so we're tracking wave 4 here to wave 5 in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and just pulling back a little bit further through here from the low in 2016 here, we've got wave 1 and wave 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the 3rd wave, the 4th wave. So we have a whole impulse wave in this section here. And on the weekly chart, it would look like this here. So wave 1 and 2 here, 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Now I like this count because it's VALE's always been very clear in its structure and what it's doing. Once it finishes this 5th wave here, then we'll be looking for a corrective wave here. And the reason I'm pointing this out for too is that once this corrective wave starts here, then we'll probably see a switch from the resources into the banking sector, and we'll see the banking sector move to the upside. Yeah, because that's been moving to the downside while this has been moving to the upside here. So this little structure here, I'm stepping out and calling this wave 1 here and wave 2 here. And this is the same for BHP and RIO as well. We can look at them quickly as well. So if I just go down to the quarterly chart here, in the bigger picture here from the GFC and so on, and this is the same for BHP and RIO and so on, is that we can see a very clear A, B and C wave here in 3 waves. So we know that the move down here is corrective. Then we've got our B wave pulling back up to supply levels, or the 61.8% roughly, whatever, and then 5 waves down here. So we've been counting 5 waves in this little structure coming up through to here, and then we'll be looking at an ABC pattern here, and then hopefully we'll be moving up here further. So we'll be looking, possibly, I'm thinking that we may be looking at a nice bull run coming in here. This third wave here is where we'll really profit from all of this here. Yeah, but I just thought I'd point this out here. And this is the same for BHP as well. So just starting with the daily chart here, we're looking at wave 1 and 2 here, and we're looking for a third wave to move up here, the fourth wave and the fifth wave. This has also got crude oil involved in it, so same but sort of different, but also looking for this particular top here. And of course this started in the same time as well, in beginning of 2016, so the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 here, and going up for the 5 here, getting the extension in the fifth wave here. So when we look at this say on a quarterly chart as well, we can see much the same thing here as well. So we've seen there's a couple of ways to count this, but I like the A, the B and the C wave here for this one. And in this case here, we're also looking up for wave. We've got 5 waves going up here, haven't we? I don't know if I've got that on the weekly or not. Yeah, I've got it on the weekly, but I've got it counted slightly different, but 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 moving up. So it's the same thing. So in a way, it's kind of exciting, really, because you know, when we get to the top of this, has already moved through here, so we know that it's sort of bullish in a way. You know, because if this was going to be 1 and 2 and 3 here, and then up for 4 here, well, then it's already overlapped here, so it shouldn't overlap in this degree of structure. So we can look at it like this. So, but yes, 5 waves up for wave 1, an A and a B and a C for wave 2. And while this is pulling down, I expect the banks to finish, and then this to pull up, you know, to move up from there. And if we look at RIO as well, so RIO is much the same as well. Slightly different, but from wave 4 going up to wave 5 here, and then in the bigger picture on the quarterly as well here, perhaps we've got that there. Oh, it's got a different correction here, and I won't go into that at the moment, but the main thing is we have this impulse wave here. This could be a corrective wave here too, as an A wave to here, then an A and a B and a C wave up to here, finishing here and then moving down. But that's what VALE's not telling us that in that particular instance. So we'll see anyway as that moves along. But with these stocks, the RIO and the VALE and so on moving to the upside here, then this is iron ore here on a 4-hour chart. So it's probably a bit unlikely that we're going to find support here. We turned bullish in this. I knew there was a bounce coming. We turned bullish from this little point in here somewhere, and we're looking at this being tested here. Now, I wasn't sure if we're going to find support on this and be bullish from that point, but looking at those stocks here, it's likely that we're going to be looking at this as 1 and 2 here, 3 in here, 4 in here, and then 1 and 2, and yeah, 1 and 2 into here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So there'll be something like this here, failing to find support, and then moving down into this space here. So anyway, I just thought I'd start working the 500 in into those counts there. So it's kind of interesting, really, because when we look at CBA here on the flip side here, if I just go to the bigger picture first, just I think a monthly should do the job. So on the monthly chart here, if we're thinking that the resources are going to be topping, so this is 2016 here, okay, so remember in 2016 the resources were pushing to the upside, where this has gone into corrective mode here. So I'm thinking that you know, this wave 4 can come down. It's past its 38.2% retracement level, but that's okay. But long as it doesn't overlap the top of wave 1 here, that's the main point here. So it's fine for it to move down into the 65 level, medium level here, and then move up from that point. So I'm thinking while this is continuing to move down through here, then Rio and BHP and Vale will continue to the upside to finish. But once they top and this one bottoms here, then we'll see that turn in the bigger picture, because we're still 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're still 5 waves short in this space here. So this move down through here, we can, looking at this as a wave 4, pretty much as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave moving down here. So on the weekly chart, maybe, okay, yes, all right. So the way that we need to call this in here, if I can just create this here, just bear with me a second. Might make that just a bit smaller. Two, three, four, 5. Okay, just helps us a little bit. So we need to call this wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then we need to look at this as a third wave down into this space here, and a fourth wave to here, and a fifth wave to here, and then this would be wave 1 and 2 in here, wave 3 that's just about ending. We'll see wave 4 come back up into this space, and then wave 5 down here. So we'll have from 2 here, we'll have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, then the fourth, and then the fifth wave. And then from that point there, then we can move up from here up to 100 in 5 waves to finish that. And while this is going on here in 5 waves, then we'll see that ABC correction in BHP, RIO, VALE, and so on, and iron ore hitting the 500 or just above it, and then dropping from that point. So that's a possibility of the way that I sort of see it so far. So just while we're in this, I'm just going to save this here. That will save us coming back over that. Yeah, so today I just really wanted to explore the bigger picture for the resources and the finance, and then sort of match them up a little bit and see how they can work off each other. And we'll, of course, go back to the ASX200 in a moment as well. So on the daily chart, it would look a little bit like this here. So wave 1 and 2 here, then wave 1 and 2, and I have to call it that way because this wave 2 here, you know, I can't call all of that down for wave 1 here because we've got 3 waves here. So this is the beginning of the structure, this is the middle of the structure, and this is the ending of the structure. So we're looking for a move down into 65. Now, this move down from wave 2 down to wave 3 here, we'd been looking at this as wave 1 and 2 here, wave 3 all the way down to here actually, and then wave 4 across to here, wave 5 just coming down to here, and then wave 4 and wave 5 and wave 4 and wave 5, so long as you can sort of get that in your mind. I think we're looking at it maybe on the 1 hour chart. So, oh no, this is how I was looking at it. Sorry about that. Yeah, it looked a bit weird. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, then 1 and 2 and 3, and then an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4, and then 1 and 2 and wave 3, wave 4 here. So we're looking for one more wave down through this low here to into the 70 area here to finish that off there for that 5 of 5 here of wave 3. Was it wave 3? Yeah, I think so. Wave 3. Yeah, so, and then we'll see from here, we should see, I don't know how far it comes down. I mean, technically it should come below this low here, but there should be, because the extension's in wave 3, then there'll be a relationship between wave 1 and this one here. But we can see that the relationship for wave 1 here from the top of wave 4 would only bring it down to equality here, down to this wave 3 here. So in that case, the next best thing to do is to take 61.8% of the third wave and add that into here. But anyway, the 70 is going to move that point. So then we can see we can get a rally really back up into wave 4 over here, into this space, in this area here, so to speak. So we'll keep an eye on this bounce here. As such, we need to get evidence of that. We don't have that yet. Even this move up here was in 3 waves, so we need to see 5 waves up, 3 waves back, and then move in from that point. Right, so let's just go into the ASX200. So I was looking at this as blue wave 3 here and blue wave 4 here, but lining it up with the with those other stocks, I think that I need to lift it up 1 degree from minute degree to minor degree here. So from wave 3 to wave 4 here in orange. I can change that later, and it doesn't really affect us. We just really need to count this situation, and it's not a very clear count within here, that's for sure. These spikes here haven't helped at all. So I'm assuming that we've got 3 waves down for the A wave, the B wave back into this space here. That can actually just be moved across there a tad. And then we're looking down at 1 and 2 and 3 here, and 4 to here, or to here, or to here. I'm not sure about that. And then wave 2 back. And then down here, we're looking at 1 and 2, down for 3 here, which is kind of finishing a little bit. So we'll probably see a bounce off the 50 here, and then wave 4 coming back into group 2 here, 38.2%, and then down for wave 5 of 3, then 4, then 5 here. So we've got a little way to go for this pattern here to finish. Yeah, this pattern from this high here is certainly got 1 and 2 and the 3rd wave coming in. So we're still, we still have more to go within here. All I can say at this stage, if this 6,100 here becomes the support for whatever reasons, then we need to be long from that point. That's the point where I'd be wrong. So while we're under that, then we need to work this lower through here. And this would also line up with this move coming down through here, would line up with the resources actually having a correction at the moment. So that's why we took some profit in BHP up here when we were up here, because I was figuring that we'll be coming into a wave 4, and we'll try and buy back in if the pattern is clear. And yeah, so we can't really do any long trades for the moment in those resources. And if this is moving down, well, then we could probably see banks even rallying, even though I've pointed them out to move lower. So anyway, still choppy, very choppy waters until this is actually finished here. So don't expect any sort of don't expect many trades to be out there anyway. Any trades that I put on will be just sort of hedging what we've already got. Yeah. All right, I'll just leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Cheers.